Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today we have ourselves a track from an ex named Har'Monique titled 1 in a Million. And if we switch over to here we have ourselves a track on the screen. This is on YouTube. We're going to listen through it from start till finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Interesting sort of bellish kind of synth and bass tones.
That's why I'm saying make me your 1 in a million. Make me your 1 in a million. Darling, make me your 1. I'll never return. Make me your 1 in a million. Make me your 1 in a million. Darling, make me your 1. I'll never return. Stuck in the middle of the hour. Gon' need a party just to find us. From where we're going, it seems a bit dangerous. Oh no, I'm
Great use of backing vocals there.
baby, quit wasting time. I won't let you in if you can't handle my cry. So baby, come let me touch it right, hold it tight, kiss it like take control. So baby, tell me what you want is what you want. Let me give it to you, baby, like boom. 'Cause what I want is what you want tonight. That's why I'm saying make me your 1 in a million. Make me your 1 in a million. Darling, make me your 1. I'll never return. Make me your 1 in a million. Make me your 1 in a million. Darling, make me your 1. I'll never return.
It's just great to have another half of the chorus, right? Or another go of the chorus, but to remove some of the sort of mid to high range pads so that even if we're repeating the vocal line and everything like that and a lot of the other elements like the bass and percussion and such, it still sounds like a different thing entirely, kind of.
Me your 1 in a million. Make me your 1 in a million. Darling, make me your 1. 'Cause I'll never return. Baby, time's up just a little faster. Smoking while we fucking, baby, just might fuel your passion. I make you scream and shout. Relive all the fantasies you got. Har'Monique, maybe let's explore. So tell me what you want is what you want. Let me give it to you, baby, like boom. 'Cause what I want is what you want tonight. That's why I'm saying make me your 1 in a million. Make me your 1 in a million. Darling, make me your 1. I'll never return. That's why I'm saying make me your 1 in a million. Make me your 1 in a million. Darling, make me your 1. I'll never return. Make me your 1 in a million. Make me your 1 in a million. Darling, make me your 1. 'Cause I'll never return. Make me your 1 in a million. Make me your
Just the end of that bell curve here coming down.
make me your 1. 'Cause I'll never return.
That was a classy way to finish it. I dig it. No, well done.
UK.
UK hip. Hang on, I'll go back there. UK hip as well at the end. Nice. I I really liked the video. I thought that it was really well edited. There were some interesting shots in there as well, the color grading and stuff, but we're here to review the music, so I'm going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Har'Monique titled 1 in a Million. Now, what do I think this track is about? I think it's about Har'Monique singing about someone picking her as their kind of special person to spend time with, whether that be sort of like physically intimate or otherwise. There's like these auras of like sort of attraction and seduction going on in there. Kind of talking about how they'd be smoking whilst doing stuff or everything like that. Just trying to sort of like discuss both the fact that they feel that they're worth that attention and time, also kind of like letting them know what they get into. I think that's kind of cool. Also emphasizing that kind of connection, attraction between, which I think a lot of people are going to sort of like be able to sort of vibe with and relate to. I think it works well for the R&B genre as a whole there. I think the story, it's very accessible. The vocals from Har'Monique were great. We had a lot going on within this track. There was so much going on, but I appreciate all of it. I think that near the end, I was wondering if we'd had perhaps one too many of the chorus, because it felt like we were very, very comfortable with the hook line, the 1 in a million part at that point. But when we sort of faded out, then I was like, yeah, no, they really know what they're doing. Great vocal technique, comfortable in the head and chest voice there, wonderful harmonies. They went around the stereo field as well. The voices floated around the headphones there. So when calling responses, we harmonized with like fourths and thirds in some of those chorus sections there. We explored the main lead lines in different ways as well. We had different ways of singing slightly different sort of like tones and textures throughout there. Like that interlude was approached a little bit more sort of assertively potentially than some of the softer parts in like the choruses and verse parts. And there was enough range there for it to be the focal point and be meaningful throughout, as well as some really kind of like neat legato and vibrato sections there. Some nice melodic tails to the sung parts, but it's also just the rest of the track as well. We had interesting instruments with the backing of it. It was a piece where we had a main beat or a main sort of like group of instruments that perpetuated a very similar bass line and chord progression for the entirety of the track. But there was the diversity of the different ways we approached the lyrics and the vocals and the storytelling, as well as the variations and the layering of the instruments that I think made this track special. I think that there were things to appreciate, such as just that the bass in this track was so full and thick and full of life there. We had some wonderful portamento, so that if we had 808s or whatever, they went wow like that. And they were very present in the mix. We didn't just have the same bass line the entire time. There were adjustments outside of the root notes to kind of things sort of perk things up in the mid-range, which I thought was kind of dope there. There were some interesting sort of pads as well there. They were really sort of like radiant in the mid-range there, very soft and kind of soothing to listen to, very smooth and sleek. It's kind of what you want in music like this, and it complemented the bass line really well without overcomplicating things. There might have also been some keys in there in the upper register on the right hand there, which harmonized neatly on top and were kind of sparkled. We had some other sort of synth lines as well that added a bit of sort of sass or kind of like a little bit of edge, but not too much. And they were sort of more in the mid to higher range as well there. They had kind of like an airiness to them, which kind of made it sort of like quite a mystical experience. And I think that the drum lines as well, with the sort of trappish kind of kick, snare, claps, maybe some like hi-hats and cymbal patterns. There were some sort of like interesting triplet patterns there. They were great. It was half time. It was a slower piece there. You could kind of sort of like nod your head along to it, but there was some interesting it's the different rhythms with the different instruments that made it cool. Sometimes it seemed like it was normal. Sometimes it seemed like it was half time. And even though it was predominantly that slower pace the whole time, there was that range there that kept it accelerating throughout. Ultimately, combining those instruments together, you have a piece where it comes together really fittingly. You don't have all the instruments at once. So it's like this mid-range kind of synth thing kind of in time with the bass at the start. And then the drums came in for some bits. The drums weren't there all the time, which I thought was kind of neat. It was nice to, have range there. Because if you have too much of the same thing, the listener will tune out, even if it sounds really cool. It's just knowing the fine line of when to introduce stuff and when to pull things away there. And I think that, again, with the vocals being the focal point, the instrumental parts didn't overtake. There weren't these sort of dedicated solo sections. But instantly, it kind of it had that kind of nighttime vibe, that aesthetic to it. They were talking about nighttime in the lyrics as well. So it had a real kind of glow to it. And it was really sweet sounding. There was a major, minorish, maybe there weren't the extensions, but the relative kind of how gentle it was, even with some of the perky percussive parts there. It wasn't too over the top. It was trying to be sort of like seductive without like committing too much to one specific sort of major or minor stroke there. We had a range there, and again, you listen to the lyrics for the most part, so you got most of the feeling from that. Recording, mixing, and mastering was top tier, commercial grade there. Very tight mix. The vocals were nicely produced there. There was a bit of like deliberate kind of like vocal modulation in some parts. We had sort of a metatune kind of thing to it, and I like that. I think it was dope as an effect. That was very different to what we had going on the verse and chorus sections there. So I liked that it was noticeable. We could clearly sing, but also understood that even when we are a compelling vocalist that is very easy to listen to, we need to adjust to keep it interesting for the listener. Just again, because like attention spans nowadays, and so we handled that really well. Things were neatly leveled. The use of the panning with the vocals around the sides of the stereo field as well, going for that to that was really eloquent. The basses, synths, drums, keys, etc. were nicely niched in the frequency spectrum as well as in the stereo field, where again there was automation and bits of stuff flying around there. It was very compelling. We had a nice automation with the volume near the end as well, that kind of fade out there with the end of the bell curve there in regards to, you know, like the dynamics of it, the dynamic range. There was definitely dynamic range to this track there at Breathe. It wasn't too tight, but still a tight mix. There was definitely compression there, but it was nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression and limiting was handled effectively. This is my review of this track from an act named Har'Monique, titled 1 in a Million, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.